Welcome to the DFIRmas Podcast. This is a seasonal short series podcast hosted by ArcPoint Forensics and Amy Moles, myself. And I'm joined with Cesar Quezada. Hello.
Hello.
So we had a lot of people who were sick, and we had some people recover and some people are still on the mend. We have one guest that was still on the mend, so we decided that we are going to do a long episode to make up for two. So instead of like two short episodes, we're just going to do one long one. So, and as you can tell, I'm under the mend now. I got whatever holiday illness there was, so this has been super fun. But we figured we would just kind of start out and go through a little bit of a wrap-up of the entire season, and then also just, I guess, some viewpoints on each individual episode, but also maybe just digital forensics for the entire year. So, which I guess DFIRmas almost didn't happen.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't going to do it because last year was so stressful. Last year I did it live. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Doing like 12 days straight of live podcasting is stressful. Doing 12 days straight of recorded podcasting, I felt like was even more stressful, which didn't make any sense. But I think it's all the editing that goes into it and just like making it like end production versus like just hitting go live and then being done. So
yeah, there's pluses and minuses to both that I was able to observe from behind the scenes. So, but here we are.
When he says behind the scenes, he means me swearing in the corner as I was trying to figure out editing software, and every time it failed. I had some issues with some of the screen capture stuff, but the last couple episodes we got it together.
Yeah.
When I say we, I mean Cesar got it together. So, yeah, it wasn't really the vision I had for this show, but a lot of people requested it throughout the conferences I attended, and that was really the only reason why we kind of kept it here. So the vision I had was it was going to be a little bit more professionally polished, live, and not so hectic. So there's that.
But it's okay. We're a small studio, quote unquote studio. So we're getting our act together and we're working our way there.
Yeah, so I guess we can kind of go through some feedback.
Yeah.
I mean, we had some people interacting with us on LinkedIn and then also on YouTube, leaving comments. I think overall everyone generally enjoyed the show. Some feedback that I got from last season was that we needed a little bit more of a diverse guest list because we had a lot of folks from law enforcement, stuff like that. I think it was accomplished. Some folks from healthcare. We had vehicle forensics, which was cool. I learned a lot about that and immediately was paranoid when I went to go rent a car afterwards.
Yeah, I think we had a good variety of guests, so it was good to touch on different parts of the industry where, we all work in the same environment, same kind of industry, but different aspects. Like there's vehicle forensics. I have experience in it, but not as much as our guest who we interviewed. So
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Very small.
Oh, I'm learning so much. Never trusting my car around you ever again.
Careful.
So I think it was good. We had private, public sector. We still have law enforcement and ICAC. So we just got back from the ICAC conference as well, which is how I got this lovely illness. So I don't know, what were some of the important trends and stuff of this year that you thought were?
Well, I think AI is a big trend that everyone's talking about. I feel like the cybersecurity field, as a whole, goes through different trends. So, cyber was a buzzword at one point, then it was cloud, and right now it's AI. Even though AI has been around for quite some time in the background, doing its thing, helping us out in different aspects of software, of our forensic tools. It's just now become at the forefront with, ChatGPT releasing something that everybody can use. So now it's that's the buzzword these days, AI.
Yeah, one of the guests brought up AI in terms of like weaponizing it. And like how cybercrime has become a bigger issue than what it was in the past, or the trends are rising just because the criminals are getting smarter about using AI to advance crimes.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
Yeah, and I think one thing that I learned was from your presentation at the ICAT conference, talking about the differences with the accuracy in the different models that are out there. So I think that's important when a forensic software or anybody says they have AI. There's different aspects you should probably ask about to ensure that the model is accurate and going to do what it's supposed to do. Even though it says it has AI, there's different things you need to be aware about.
Yeah, like the different AI technologies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so most AI technologies are built with purpose, and I think a lot of individuals, when they hear AI, it's just like the umbrella term, but there's individual technologies for each one. So,
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you learned that.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Wow.
I listen
Oh,
sometimes.
noted. Sometimes. I think the other trend was the wearables, and not necessarily for crime-related stuff, but just like general curiosity of like what people are doing and wearing and what information is being reported and on what apps.
Right. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, I'm pretty Apple heavy. So I know Apple as a company itself is very heavily invested in the wearable space with their Apple Watch, and they're always adding in new sensors. I think they're trying to add in a new blood pressure sensor in their upcoming Apple Watches. So health is going to be a huge focus of technology as a whole, and that just means that we're going to be able to learn people's behaviors and what they're doing when we're investigating them, right? Did somebody's heart rate go up when they are committing a crime, or was this person actually sleeping, or were they actually awake when they said they were sleeping and a crime was committed, right? So all this stuff is going to be even more important down the road.
Yeah, you had actually brought up a data point. So the other day I was like, I don't think I slept very well. And then when I looked at my health app, it said that I had slept solid and did not move. I think I was dreaming that I wasn't sleeping. He loved to point out those data points when I'm wrong. It never lies. The other thing, too, is like we talked to Sarah Hayes from Hexordia, and she was talking about, the Aura Ring, but she was also talking about other wearables that she's interested in. And one of them sounds really interesting, and I volunteered to, be a test subject and, help create that data set for them. But it's basically, it's like a brain sensor that you wear on your head, and allegedly you can read your different brain functionality to like calm yourself down or relax, or it's used a lot for folks who have PTSD or other anxiety related disorders. And I was like, sign me up. I'm good. It also looks like something from Star Trek.
Star Trek, yeah, just a little lower, just cover your eyes. Yeah.
They did have another one, another one for just sleeping, I guess, but I don't know if I could wear that at night.
Probably
comfortably.
Nope, not me.
Really?
Mm-mm. Be too much.
Why?
It's just too much going on. Like when you're shifting your head and stuff. I know they have like earbuds you can sleep in, and they're made for sleeping, but I don't think I could be comfortable in that. But
it could just drive you insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm a side sleeper, so I don't know how that would be like pressed against my head all night. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see what people come out with in terms of like that. I don't know what. Like, if I'm going to commit a crime, I'm not going to be wearing that thing on my head. So, like, I don't know, like, in terms of crime or, like, proving something, I don't know if that would be helpful. Unless you have the sleep one, I guess. I think you say 100% with the sleep.
Well, if you have a certain pattern of life that you always wear it at this time, and then one day you're not wearing it, then that's a clue, right? Maybe not the actual piece of evidence you need, but something's out of place, right? As investigators, you always have to keep an eye out for things that perhaps don't make sense when you're expecting something.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I didn't think about that. Well, what are some of the other common challenges I think that people touched on this year?
I think one of the new ones that just came out recently is the iOS rebooting.
Oh, yeah, that's a hot topic.
Right. iOS 18.2, your phones are automatically going to reboot, so that means they're going to go from an AFU mode into a BFU mode, and that just means your device is even more locked down. So I think trying to preserve the data as soon as possible. Even if you just get an image, like as soon as you seize that device, you need to forensically image that device and seize it, and preserve that data, capture, assist, diagnose logs, right? And that way you have a piece of evidence in a certain state as close to capture as possible, because that your phone's going to reboot. Graphene OS already does that. It's been doing that for a few years on the Android side. Now iOS is going to do that, and as soon as Apple does it, that means Samsung is going to follow suit pretty soon, and so will Google and their Pixel devices. So that's probably going to be a common trend that we're going to see in 2025.
Was that shift like more for privacy? What was that for?
Yeah, probably privacy and security of your data from Apple's perspective, but that just makes our job a little harder.
I feel like I've listened to him say BFU and AFU before. I didn't know what that was, so like in the corner I'm like, is he swearing at me? Like, I didn't do anything wrong. I don't know, but the joys of working at home together. I think encryption too was the other thing, which kind of goes into like what you're saying, like it reboots so that way you get less and less data. But encryption has become constant challenge that we're having, like encrypted chipsets and all of the things in between.
Yes, absolutely. So mobile devices, it can't get a full physical because it's hardware encrypted, but generally speaking, your IoT devices are not encrypted, but it's only a matter of time till those things start becoming encrypted, or your vehicles or other things that are kind of not as secure. They're going to follow suit, and it's just going to be even harder for us to get data from. But that's part of the joy of being in this field. Something's always changing, and you have to adapt and overcome and learn different methods to get that data.
For some people it's a joy, for some people it's a headache.
It's a challenge.
I
Challenges
will
are
let
exciting.
everybody decide who thinks it's a headache and who thinks it's a joy in this household. Spoiler alert, it's a headache for me. You get so excited about this stuff.
I love it.
Yeah, I feel like you're just like constantly listening to like random things. Like not just like digital forensics podcasts and reading blogs and stuff like that, but like just general technology.
Yes. Yep. I love all kinds of technology. That's why I'm in the field. And that's why computer forensics is a great field, because of the wide variety of technology that you can learn about and stay current about. Something's always changing. And something's always going to have data that you can get.
This is also his excuse so we can get new tech. Normally it's just like new Apple products. Like he's like, oh, did you see this? Like we could.
You have to blow up my spot?
yeah, absolutely. You already said that you liked Apple products. So I feel like a lot of people, actually, tidbit of information, we used to work in the same lab together. That's how we met. And we had one person who would make fun of Cesar and call him an eye sheep, because anytime there is a new iPhone that comes out, he would say, oh, you're going to go get that because you're an eye sheep.
And I did.
No shame. No shame.
Yeah.
There's that. So, okay. So, in terms of advice, what did you think was the best advice that someone gave out for people starting out in our field? There's a lot.
So, for folks starting out in the field, I think just searching for free and online resources. There's a lot out there already that you can read up on and learn about. A lot of blogs that folks write, right? There's so much out there that you can learn on your own just to get started. You can participate in CTFs. I know there's like the magnet CTF that Hexordia, the company that I work for, has built a CTF for. Those are great ones to start out in and just, dip your toe in there and see what you can find. And then folks have written write-ups about how they solved past CTF. So, you can follow step by step on someone else's solution. And, even though if you didn't get that problem right, you can see how somebody else thinks and how somebody else analyzes that problem. And then, you tackle your next problem a different way. It's all about learning, constant evolution of just getting better. That's just, as a forensic practitioner, you oftentimes think back, 5, 10 years working a case, and you're like, oh, well, I might have missed something that I probably didn't know about, but through constant education and learning, you pick up on a lot of things throughout the years.
Yeah, Kevin Pagano touched on that too, like the like importance of participating in CTFs, and if you didn't have like the confidence to basically participate in a live CTF, a lot of them are archived, right?
Yeah.
And you can do them on your own, and I know that Debbie had touched on that as well. Debbie Gardner, she was saying that there's a lot of free resources, CTF being one of them, a lot of free data sets. I know Josh Hickman puts out a bunch of data sets as well.
His stuff is great.
Yeah, it is. So there's a lot of different resources. One of the, I think the most important piece at least that stood out to me during the show was putting yourself out. I felt like it was a reoccurring theme, is like putting yourself out there, like create your own content, create a podcast, create a blog. I think every single one of our guests had touched on that at some point.
Yeah, it's important because it is a big field, but creating your own content from your own perspective helps add to it and helps add to everyone's knowledge. Whether you post it on X or Blue Sky or Mastodon or whatever the new flavor is these days, just post it somewhere and someone's going to read it and provide some good feedback maybe, and then they'll learn, right? Even if they don't provide feedback. I know I probably should provide feedback a lot, but I read a lot of stuff online and I learn a lot all the time.
Yeah. And we actually had a question on YouTube. So it was under Jerry's episode of like, other than working for, one of the big 4 consulting companies, how can you build a clients list, or how can you get yourself out there? And I think blogs are a really good way of doing that because you're demonstrating your expertise in this environment. You're also showing people that you're going above and beyond and educating. So if something is peer reviewed, maybe it can be used in court.
Yeah.
So it depends on the situation, but that's always a good way to go out and like build your client list, right? If you're doing private consulting, people want to know, like, if I'm going to any specialist, right? Like if I go to get my car fixed, I'm going to look at the reviews. 2, I'm going to look at, if they educate people on like how to change out your windshield wipers or something silly, right? But it shows that they aren't just taking your money, that they want to like generally help you outside of that. So I think that's important. Build up your rapport, I guess, with the public. So anything else?
If you're lucky enough to live near a big city or where they have conferences, I would definitely try to attend. Try to reach out to different companies who are vendors there, because sometimes they have free conference passes. Just explain your situation, and maybe you can get in one and network and learn that way, right?
Yeah, that's good. And there is a lot of free workshops and webinars.
Yep.
I feel like there's at least 3 or 4 a month. At least that's online too. Okay, so who are some of the, I guess, guests that stood out to you? Do you have like a favorite episode, or guests that you had that, and why?
I think I liked Kevin's from the dark web, right? It was a lot of good information that I don't have much firsthand experience in, just in doing that dark web investigation and what's out there and how to even go about looking at it. That's something that,
like where to get started.
Yeah.
I think that also it sounds like the dark web sounds overwhelming when you're doing dark web investigations.
Yeah.
It's just like any investigation. You just gotta start somewhere.
Right.
I think Jerry stood out to me the most, just because one of the insights that he had shared is his theater background and how it helps him in his career, which normally I would never, I just wouldn't have thought performing arts would help in digital forensics, but I guess if you're on stand, like you're performing under pressure, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I think people's background and experiences in life, right, they mold you, and you never know what experience you're going to draw upon, but it all helps shape you and make you the person you are today. So that in Jerry's experience. That has helped him, I'm sure, immensely on the witness stand, and definitely something that everybody has some experience that will help them either investigate or personal experience with something that happened in their background that will help them in a case, right? There's always something that different people bring to the table in this field.
Yeah. He was saying that he had recommended people take improv classes.
Yeah.
Which I automatically was like, oh, improv like comedy, but I guess there's other types of improv classes.
Yeah, just coming up with stuff on the fly and just being able to run with it is good. I know there was, I think, there was a little group, I think, with Jessica Hyde. She had, I think it was at a conference in Vegas where they would come up with topics and you'd have to weave in cybersecurity into the topic just on the fly, right? Just a 5-minute presentation, and that's the type of improv that you could come up with. You could do that at home and just be able to practice. Everything is practice and to fine tune your skills.
Yeah, makes sense. Jessica's really good at trivia too. She just thinks of random facts right on the spot quickly. So of course she's doing stuff like that.
Yes. Yep.
So yeah, I guess it helps with presentations. Maybe I should do it.
Yeah. So I know for me, I have a bachelor's in history, so I used to have to write reports or papers on history events. So we're talking, 20 plus pages per paper. So for me, I think that's helped me with report writing and being detailed in my reports in cybersecurity. So everybody has something in their background that can help them, I think.
Yeah, but definitely well-rounded analyst, for sure. Yeah, I guess that's a good takeaway, right? Is summarizing it, just being well-rounded in your industry, no matter what that is. So, I don't know. There's random things that I thought learning in just grade school was I would never use it, right?
Right.
A lot of my math classes, I'm never gonna use this, and then you get a hard drive and you have to calculate everything out. And you're I can't believe I'm actually using this. But how did I get here? I guess what do you think what other devices should we explore into in the future? I know when we were talking with Derek does incident response for healthcare, and a lot of his stuff was IoT devices in the medical field, more of standalone.
Yeah. Well, I think you have to be in that field, in that medical field, to get access to those devices. So the stuff he's doing is, probably only a limited number of people have experience doing those types of devices. So I would say that's pretty important. And the way things are getting interconnected just with health, we spoke about, I forget what it's called.
The wearable?
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's called Muse 2.
Muse 2. So
yeah.
Stuff like that is going to be becoming more and more relevant, right? They're making these health devices more accessible to everyday consumers like you and I. So that is going to become more and more important for us to be able to get data off of.
Yeah. I also think some of this, the exploring into the future is some of these scams that we're seeing, are becoming more sophisticated. So cryptocurrency, I know, was a big topic. Actually, it was brought up, I think, throughout most of and in some aspect it was brought up in most of the conversations I had in conferences and also for this season. So Lily obviously focuses a lot on cryptocurrency because that's what her company does, but just talking about some of these pig butchering scams and stuff like that, how are we going to see that in the future? What's that going to look like? Because it's not going to slow down. It's just going to become worse.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know we've had family members reach out to us and ask us random questions hey, I got this text message. I just haven't talked to this person in 14 years, but they said they need money. Should I send them money? I was do not click the link. Do not click the link. This is not your friend. I think we see that more so with family members on Facebook Messenger and stuff like that. Facebook Messenger.
Yes. We either get messages about how to set up a printer or whether they should click a link or not. So.
Oh, yeah. Or setting up an Apple Watch. So, I think it was like medication reminders and like heart rate and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, medical devices, yeah. Wearable. And keep my stepdad afloat. Did you learn anything personally on the podcast?
Did I learn anything personally?
I mean, other than the fact that patience level with me. I know that you're extremely patient with me. I was like, move this, turn that. A little to the left. Nope, back to the right.
I think it's just a good overall. I just really enjoyed being able to listen on different parts of the industry that I don't get much experience with on a daily basis, like the vehicle stuff. Yes, I touched on it before, but I don't have extensive knowledge in it. So, dark web stuff, right? Medical device data. I don't get much hands-on time with that type of forensics anymore, or in general in the first place. So I think it was good to listen about those types of devices.
I learned a lot about funding, I think.
Funding,
yeah, for like ICAC and the limited resources, but mostly like what John Pizzurro and Debbie touched on it too, but like what John Pizzurro's doing on the Hill. Well, I do not envy that person, and also I didn't know there was tunnels. I also learned that.
I think it takes a special type of person to be able to lobby for those types of funds and patience, right? Because getting those funds is not an overnight thing. It probably takes, I think you said, a year at least for a bill to go through and get passed, and then if it doesn't get approved or it gets killed, like you start over. It is frustrating.
We just talked to him at the conference. He said that he had to start over on one bill because of the new administration coming in, basically.
Yeah.
So I think I'm perfect for that role. I have like a ton of patience and.
Yeah.
You laughed a little too hard. Oh my God. No one feels bad for you. Oh my God, I'm embarrassed. I am the most patient person. I would never, get annoyed with people or anything like that. No, not at all. Okay, so let's change gears. How has digital forensics changed your life?
How's it changed my life? It's my career.
Well, yeah, but like, okay, there. That was that was a softball throw. Sorry.
Well, I started out, way back in the day. I'm a little older, more weathered these days, but as like I mentioned, a history major doing ROTC, and I realized that it wasn't my calling to go active duty, so I'm in the National Guard, but I always had a desire to do technology, so then I went to the IT field, and then went to George Mason to get my master's in computer forensics, because that type of...
Did you like their program?
I did.
Yeah?
I went there when it was fairly new, but I did learn a lot, and that opened the door to a computer forensics career.
So when you were in their program, did they teach like a lot of theory? Did they teach theory hands-on? Like what was the experience like?
I think back then it was a lot more theory.
Oh.
I think the program has been built up, and I think this is probably across the board with a lot of digital forensics programs. It's a fairly new degree, fairly new career path, relatively speaking. So a lot of the teachers were actual practitioners, right, from law enforcement to some lawyers we had. But it was fairly new, so it was a lot of theory, and we did accounting forensics, we did your traditional computer forensics, but when I went through, it wasn't really set up to have software or that kind of stuff. We talked about it, but we didn't really go deep into it. But I've looked at the program now, And I know Jessica Hyde teaches there at George Mason, and
That's right.
it's very, very, very good program that they have now running, and you do get in the weeds and you do get technical, and they really challenge you, I think. So I think that is across the board with the computer forensics education, I would say, as a whole in the collegiate level, I guess, your bachelor's and master's degrees.
Well, you also have like a ton of certifications too.
Yeah.
Every time I turn around, he's like going after some new certification. I'm like, didn't you just finish? Didn't the stress of one just finish? Why are we here? But
Gotta catch them all.
it's a Pokemon. Oh my god. You are a nerd. In and out. Also, I might have collected a few cards here and there. What's your favorite Pokemon?
Mewtwo.
Really? Why?
Well, he's one of the original, like, I don't know. The Pokemon now is like, I don't know how many characters there are now, but he was one of the, I guess, the original bad guy. No.
Yeah, and his evolution, his character evolution is pretty cool, I would say. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah. Nothing.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so other than like it change like your career and stuff like that, is there like a really challenging case you've come across or something that you're just had like an aha moment in your career?
I think when you're able to actually go raw into the data, I think that is...
What do you mean? Like the binary level?
Yeah, the raw hex, right?
Okay.
Right. When you're given a binary image of just data,
Don't freak out.
You have to figure out what that data is. Worked some cases from around the world where, this is when in the DoD side when only a very select few had access to these devices. You had to figure out what the data was because there was no commercial tool that was parsing that data out because, like I said, only a few people had access to that device and that data. So a lot of manual carving, a lot of manual decoding, trying to figure out what's going on within the binary itself. So that stuff is pretty exciting. I think that lends itself to actually knowing, what the data is, how to, pull out the timestamp, and then as you do it repeatedly, you can visually see it in your next case in your further data, right? You can visually see, okay, I see a pattern here. I've looked at this kind of data before. This is probably what I'm seeing this time. So yeah, I like going manual and doing all the manual parsing. That stuff is exciting because the tools help out a lot, and I love the tools, right? You don't want to do all the heavy lifting yourself, but when something's unknown and then you can figure it out, it's like you're solving a puzzle, and it's great.
We are so opposite. Anytime we had to do anything manual, I was like, great. Yeah. I talked about it on the show. I remember I took a cell phone over to your all's team,
Mm-hmm.
and I was panicked. I was like, just play it cool. I was like, hello, I have this cell phone, and I don't know what's wrong with it. I have no idea. I've tried everything. And Jessica didn't know either, so that was nice. Jessica was the lead over that team at that time. But that's all they did. They specialized in mobile devices, so I was like, I don't know. I don't know how to do this. I've never seen it. I think we had to do like a special adapter and everything. I don't know. I probably didn't even look like over in your direction or anybody. I think I looked at my feet the entire time because I was like thoroughly embarrassed that I could not get this. And I probably wasted like 2 full days maybe on that before I was like, I definitely need to ask for help. I do not know. This case is due in like 4 days. And I've wasted 2 of those days trying to just get the data off the phone. So
yeah, that's a good lesson, right? Don't be too proud to ask for help, right? You try what you can, what you know, and if it's still not giving you the results you want, it's okay to ask for help and get some outside assistance.
Yeah, I don't think I was too, like, proud to ask for help. I was too embarrassed. I was intimidated. I hadn't worked there for a very long time either. And I felt like it was, like, one of those, like, I don't want to say hazing, because, like, that sounds like a terrible work environment, but kind of like hazing, where they're like, oh, let's give the new girl this phone. Let's see what she does. And not knowing that nobody on that team knew what to do with it.
Fun time.
I was set up.
It was fun.
To set me up?
No.
Were you part of it?
No.
I knew it.
I know nothing.
This whole time.
Nothing. I know nothing.
Tell me everything. Oh my God. Anyways, back to business. I guess I'm looking down at some of these questions, so sorry. How do you think we can get the audience more engaged in the next show? What should we do for the next show? Do we want to keep a short series? Do we want to do something else, not holiday related? I also think that it's a little hard to do holiday related because it's like chaos for everybody. Like, you have end of year sales for people, you have the holidays, like, schedules, you have people who are on vacation. Like, it's just, it's kind of a hot mess.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It is a lot. I'm slowly losing my mind. It is a lot. So what do you think? Any good ideas?
I'm open to any suggestions. I think we have the equipment, the knowledge, the industry. We have the pulse of the industry, I would say, being in where we are in our respective companies. So if there was something more repeated, I think that'd be nice. But I don't want to repeat somebody else's show or...
Yeah, there's a lot of shows.
Yeah, a lot of good ones. So.
Yeah, there is. They just had, Sans just did their awards ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
Was it their podcast that won? Oh my gosh. Great. Just said it and I can't remember. Who won?
I don't know.
The podcast of the year?
I don't know.
Oh, great.
There's a lot out there, and none of the ones that were on the list I don't think I even knew about. So.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Wow. The more you know.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that like used to be like the ABC logo? The more you know. Like the star? No? Okay.
NBC?
Was it NBC?
Maybe.
I grew up with 3 stations, so there's that. I didn't get that fancy one. I had Fox 33, Channel 24 if the wind was just right, and News Channel 2. So if you need to know anything that was going on in Syracuse, New York area, News Channel 2 was the way to go on repeat. So there's that. And The Simpsons, I felt like the priority. So, well, what about holiday stuff? What's your favorite tradition, I guess? This is our second Christmas together. So we're kind of like trying to establish our own traditions, which kind of turned into not really an argument, but more of like bickering about food.
Wow. Okay.
I had a whole menu planned in my head, and you were like, let me just like throw shade all over this.
You see how it was in her head? She didn't consult anybody, so.
How dare you? Oh. All right, so holiday traditions.
So I'm not a big gift receiver. I don't like gifts. So what I did ask for was food, right? Some special food, and I love chocolate, so I did ask for a chocolate cake last year, and we will have another one this year because last year was so good.
It's that midnight chocolate cake.
Dark chocolate. It's the way to go.
Yeah, I guess that is like our little tradition. So there's that. But you didn't really ask for it this year, just kind of assumed that I was going to make it, but it's a tradition now. I am now have to make this chocolate cake every year.
And I
love.
I have to eat it, so that's great tradition.
Definitely made with love.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. I would never spin it. What else? Well, we're a blended family.
Yep.
And we are kid-free on Christmas Day, which is nice, but it's also hard, too. It has its moments, but we get up and go to the gym. We keep our schedule. I this year decided to be very festive at the gym. I know.
Right.
Last year I just wore like a sports bra that had,
Boring.
Christmas bulbs on it, but
Boring.
now I got bulbs all over the place. So I don't know, I like to have fun. Probably take dorky pictures and stuff like that.
Sounds about right.
Thanks.
That's your everyday.
Oh my God.
I'm just kidding.
He's not kidding.
No.
Speaking of dorky, I mean, you have your...
Oh, yes. So, I do have my ornaments. We need a good Master Chief because Halo's the greatest game. And even though it's probably not as popular as Fortnite or Call of Duty, this is what I play all the time still.
Oh, the time.
Yep.
Which, to be fair, you would think that if you played all the time, there'd be more kills. But
Wow. I'm actually very good. If I don't say, don't toot my own horn.
for a while, we went through this whole thing where he was like, I have to get a new monitor. The refresh rate is terrible, and it's messing up my game. And I was like...
Need that 120 hertz. Okay?
I was like, okay. Got a new monitor, which turned out to be a TV, not even a monitor. It was a TV. And then that didn't seem to solve the problem. And then it was, it's my, what was it? My headset? Something was going on with the headset. So then we got a new headset. Also, the problem did not improve. And then, we got, I don't know, new controller.
We went through a couple controllers.
A couple? There's 5. There's 5 controllers.
Oh, okay.
Now I think we got one.
Yes.
You're actually pretty nerdy about this. Is it a
We're
Razer
all
one?
set. Yeah. Yes, the controller is a Razer one. So I am a console gamer. I'm not a PC. I used to play keyboard and mouse when I was 20, but
Oh, what did you used to play?
used to play Unreal Tournament.
What is that?
The LAN is an old PC game. Used to LAN back when I was at the academy living on the dorms. Used to connect your computer. All the computers were networked, and you used to just play Unreal Tournaments, just like a Slayer type game.
Oh.
Yeah, it's fun. I was keyboard and mouse back then, but now I'm an Xbox guy, and because it's Halo.
Yeah, he got this new controller, and it's made by Razer, but you can change the color on it, like the lighting, and naturally, he had to find the hex color for Hexordia's color green.
That's right.
And
Always represent.
always be branding. Even when we're angry at the screen. Because we're winning. We're only angry when we're winning. Anyways, you have other stuff too that you...
Yes.
Other game stuff.
So, yeah, I have this Christmas ornament, Naruto, one of the best animes ever. Love him.
Is that your personal opinion? Or is that like public opinion?
There's a very strong consensus. It's hard to please everybody, but Naruto's pretty high up there.
I mean, I like it, for sure. I really like the one that you... Well, I don't know. There's a couple now. Death Note was good.
There's
I thought Death
over
Note
like
was really
700 episodes. You're on like not even 100. So.
I know. I think he's still a baby.
Yes.
Yeah. He's like mature here. I think it's like... He's like an adult. I'm like, I don't even know this version of him. I haven't made it there yet.
And you watch it in English, which is a little...
How dare you call me out? Sometimes, to be fair, I watch it a lot of times when I had to do cardio at the gym, which is perfect. But reading and stepping and it can get really dangerous. So I have to watch it in English so I don't kill myself at the gym.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I'm doing it for my personal safety.
I'll allow it.
Yeah. Death Note. Did we watch it in...
Death Note's good. No, English.
We watched it in English?
Mm-hmm.
He set up in English on me. Sometimes I'm really lazy when I'm watching a show. I don't want to read.
Attack on Titan.
We watched that in Japanese.
I don't remember.
Yes, we did. 1,000%. Anyways, I actually liked Attack on Titan.
Yeah, it was good.
I thought it was good just because I like the military aspect of it, like of them like planning and strategically doing all the things. And then Death Note I thought was good naturally because it's like an investigative. There's a lot of twists and turns. It was good.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was really good. So.
Yep.
Little nerd aspect there. All right, what's your last one?
Well, my last one is classic, Mr. Mario himself, right? Gotta represent Nintendo. Switch 2 is probably going to come out soon. Looking forward to that.
I did learn, though, that I should have gotten you Luigi.
No, Mario's correct. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
So now that I'm on the inside loop on, like, all the good stuff in the family, I was told that he was only allowed to be player 2, which is Luigi.
So, yeah. I have a cousin who's pretty much like my sister. She's 3 years older than me. And she always had to be Mario. I could never be Mario. I had to be Luigi, had to be player 2. So.
Oh, and she still won't let it go. It's great. I love it. Oh, poor guy. That's
Mario
why I
now.
got him Mario.
I have Mario now. How
So,
about that?
yeah, we got these because my son's really into Star Wars. So we have, like, all of his Star Wars stuff on the tree. And I was like, I wanted to do a, not boring, but, like, a pretty themed tree where it was, like, really nice and classic. And I wasn't going to put the Star Wars stuff up. And quickly got called out on that. Like, he was like, where's Obi-Wan? Why is Obi-Wan not on there? Where's Chewie? I'm like, okay, all right. So, in spirit, I was like, here you go. I guess we're going to build out our nerd tree now where we can have all our nerdy little characters.
Excellent. I like it.
Yeah.
Another tradition.
Another tradition? Well, I had the Death Star, but I didn't put the Death Star up.
Yet.
No. I don't know. Maybe it'll be Lord of the Rings next year. I could get behind that.
Nerd.
So mean to me. Oh my gosh. Is there any other holiday stuff?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. So we both track macros, so we're like Whoville. We just feast and feast and feast and feast all day, and we don't have to track anything, so it doesn't count.
That day is no calories count that day, so.
So now you know why there was like not really an argument, but like we have to make this day count. So like we're like steak and eggs, maybe some shrimp was thrown in there. What else? Chocolate cake.
Maybe some Chinese food. Because they'll be open. Some wine.
Yeah.
Make a day of it.
All day, just feasting on who pudding and who roast beef or whatever, however that goes. From the Grinch. You have no idea.
Yeah.
Okay. And we'll watch Christmas movies. So, it'll be good.
Yeah.
Fun times. So, all right. Well, I think, do you have anything else? Any final messages? Any last minute advice?
I would say just, it's been fun being behind the scenes, and this has been fun recording in front of the camera. So if anybody has any comments, some feedback, some suggestions on what you want to see in the future, maybe you hate it, maybe you love it, any feedback is good feedback. So,
except for the hate part. Just be gentle. just be nice. We're open to feedback. No swearing. So, okay. That was good advice.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's just keep going. Thank you. Back and forth. Doctor. Doctor. All right. Anyways, so this is the last episode. So maybe we'll see you next year. Maybe we'll see you in the near future on a different show. I don't know yet. If you like it, let us know. And then leave everything in the comments. Send me an email. Message me directly. Whatever form. Carrier pigeon. Whatever. Or if you're like Game of Thrones, send a raven. So let us know what you think, and then we will try to plan out another season, either for DFIRmas or for a new podcast. Stay tuned. You're the worst guest I've had.